Welcome back to Drop Frames, everyone. Going on the second half here of the show. Let's do a little bit of news before we drop in and see what Zeke and Max have also been playing. We got a Steam Deck. I keep wanting to say Stream Deck. It's a Steam Deck shipping update. They have delayed the Steam Deck by, 2 months? Yeah, I'll start shipping to customers in February 2022. Did either of you?
Yeah, it was originally scheduled for December.
Yeah, did either of you grab this? Are you guys Steam Deck owners? Zeke, you are? Max, did you get one?
I paid him my $5.
Okay. You didn't get one, Max? I didn't either. I was
I definitely don't have much of a use for offline gaming, portable, anything.
Yeah. I don't I feel like my thought conditions on it were I have a Switch. The amount of times I've used that Switch in a non-docked position still are in the or in the one digit, not singular, the one digit fashion, and most of those are trips, and I don't really see myself flying anytime soon, so I didn't buy it. However, I totally see the use for it, and if you are someone that games outside of the the PC or sitting at your PC rather, it makes perfect sense. So are you upset at all, Zeke, with the 2-month delay? There's not too much news conversation around this apart from hey, even hardware manufacturers are having to delay even more so as we get into 2022. It'll be, I think the last report on it, granted it's probably old news now, is like 2023 is when that stuff is supposed to start stabilizing somewhat when it comes to the chip shortage and the silicon shortage for like cars, PC, hardware, stuff like this. We're still a couple ways out, a couple years out from that being back to normal. So.
And I'm kind of curious to see if and when NVIDIA the GeForce Now cloud service catches up and expands their library extensively, like if that'll be like a competition or whatever, people will opt for that instead of like a Steam Deck or something like that. Because I know all cards on the table, I did a sponsor thing for them, but it's a fucking good service.
Yeah.
And you don't you can play it like anything on your, a mobile, iPad, whatever.
Yep.
No matter the intensity because the GPU is used over there.
Yep. If I think the Project X Cloud as well, just to put everything out there, is available on mobile now and works just as well as the GeForce stuff. So yeah, a lot of different services out there if you're looking to do some things that don't require new hardware, but just require an app to grab. So maybe it might not be perfect in terms of the gaming that you'll get on it, but it's damn near close. Like it runs very well, and latency and everything is not too much of an issue for that type of stuff. But
right.
Can't play fighting games on it though.
Did you guys, dude, fighting games portable? Like I'm immediately I'm fine. I'm okay. Like the only thing I can see that being useful for is like practicing combos if I'm on a plane.
Right.
Like that's the only logical twist I can make my brain make this actually work.
Totally.
But outside of that, I'm just I think I'm good.
Well, it's
that facial expression you made was I think they modeled the smirk face, the smirk emote. It was perfect.
It's pretty hilarious to me when the stick is bigger than the actual thing that you're gaming on when it comes to practicing. So I could see that
related but unrelated to the Steam Deck thing. Have you guys did you guys hear anything recently about I think it's Alder Lake, the new CPUs from Intel?
Yeah, I've heard they did quite well in terms of performance. Yeah,
that 12900. I'm eyeballing that 12900K for my stream rig in the future. Like I'm seriously considering it, unless AMD pops back and they really start kicking ass too. It's kind of crazy to see that Intel is actually getting competitive again with their CPUs.
Thank God.
I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, I agree as well. Do you know when they'll start shipping?
I don't. I've heard it soon.
Okay. I remember reading the review and I saw that they ran a little bit hot and they also were pretty power hungry. But apart from that, the performance was pretty strong. So
yeah,
I'm still rocking my
Ryzen stuff.
Yeah, I'm still rocking my, I think it's a 5960X in my stream rig. So I'm like 5 generations.
Oh, you're
back.
hella good.
Yeah, but I'm still okay for now.
That's not bad. Yeah, isn't that like a 16 core CPU?
Yeah, it was like their $2,000 CPU back in the day. I say
Okay.
back in the day, but that's from like 5 years ago or maybe 4 years ago.
So for anybody who's not tech savvy like me, like what is the importance of getting a better CPU?
You can just encode at a lower. You can encode better essentially to get without getting
for
super
streaming
technical.
purposes.
Yeah.
For streaming purposes, you could, without putting much effort into it. Damn, you guys just drank from your flasks at the exact same time. Like it was synchronous.
Look, 300 episodes, Max. If the guest is talking, that's prime drinking time.
Cheers, buddy.
For example, if you're like an OBS and you have like your encoder presets, you could effectively put it like on a medium setting, which is a very, very good looking stream.
Yeah.
Depending on which bit rate you're at, with almost no issue. So, and that's a big deal. That's even without overclocking and stuff like that. So that'll result in there's a lot of ridiculous optimizations you can do to your stream quality to make it look good. And that a lot of people don't do, that are sort of just baked into those presets that you see. But you can go in and actually modify a lot of that stuff and make your stream look damn good.
Yeah.
But are you not like, I mean, videos, sure, you can make awesome, very cool videos, but like live streaming, which is where my heart and soul lies.
No, that's what I'm talking about.
Aren't you just limited?
Not necessarily.
Like what?
You're limited to bit rate, but the way that you encode the video can look better. I mean, Max, I don't know if Max will promote himself, but go look at Max's streams of like super grassy areas and compare them to someone playing like a BR game. Max's streams look very crystal clear in that scenario, running at 1080p 60.
Are you talking about like artifacting and shit like that?
Yes.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah, the interpolation between frames, how the encoder will search frames ahead of where you're currently at to interpolate that information, how much CPU that takes, where you're going to offset the threads, like all that kind of stuff goes into, what regular live encoding is, and you can actually customize that stuff. All that stuff is changeable.
Yep.
And I have it unfortunately resulted in sort of an unstable overclock on my end, where I'm just like, I just need more cores, I need more threads. But I was able to get some pretty crazy results with some pretty minor dropped encoding frames, especially on like Ghost of Tsushima.
That's the footage I saw.
A great game to test it.
That prompted the DM of like, all right, what the fuck are you doing here?
Yeah. It's like, well, everyone's stream kind of looks the same. You're limited by bit rate. No. That's no. You can output a much higher quality image than other streams do if you put in like a bit of effort.
Yeah.
Dude. Fuck me then. God damn it. Because
it took a lot of effort though. That's
recently,
for sure.
I played No More Heroes 3.
Yeah.
And that motherfucker is pixelicious. Like it's all over the place. And I got so many messages saying like it's a fucking mess. I'm like, there's nothing I can do. Thinking there was nothing I can do
like
about
it. Digital barf. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. There's definitely some encoding options that you can do, but it's a lot of it comes down to experimentation, and it's not necessarily like Max can't really just say, hey, use these settings because you're limited by.
Fortunately, no.
You're limited by the hardware of your time, Zeke, as Iron Man's dad once said. But
the cool part is that a lot of those limitations are essentially like uncuffed if you get a new CPU.
Yeah.
This is all
open up.
CPU. We do not primarily, if you have the option, you do not want to use the GPU encoding. You don't. It's good. It's really good, especially if you stream in game from the same computer.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. However, if the goal is to get like the best quality stream images, visuals possible, and you have a 2-rig system to do it, then yes, optimized CPU encoding on X264 is. You could get some pretty crazy results that very few people on this platform really go for.
Yeah.
So and it'll only get better. It'll only get better because the future of encoding on Twitch is probably an AV1 encoding. And long story short, when you have a car and you fill it with gas, right? You don't make the gas tank bigger for you to go longer. You make the car use the gas more efficiently. And that's exactly what's going to happen with encoding, where you just use the bit rate more efficiently. And that's what Disney Plus uses, right? Disney Plus streams are like less bit rate than our friggin' streams.
Yeah.
But their encoders are godlike. Like they're super good. So that's like the future. Everything's going to be super heavy, front loaded on our end, crazy CPU usage. But man, it's going to look ridiculous. We're talking like 1440p, 120 FPS streams, only like 6 meg upload, and it'll look amazing.
Yeah.
That's the future.
We're probably like a year or two, if not a couple more than that, but we're getting close. We're getting close to that
what do you have in yours, JP?
I'm still
Max,
using.
I want to know what both of you have.
I'm still using mostly Nvenc shit, but that's really boils down to laziness. Like if Max went and dialed all of his shit in, and I know the process that goes into that, and I don't want to go through that process, but you definitely can if you want to. And it's you start to get into like tinkering with, singular values of certain things when it comes to the encoding process, and I just never have messed with it. I did back in the early days.
I got an i9 9900K, and I have like a slight overclock at around like 4.7, 4.8.
Yeah.
Because above that, it gets a little, when you're streaming for like 6 to 8 hours and constantly hammering the CPU, it can act a little weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, I need, long story short, it doesn't have that many threads. I need a CPU that has more threads, and the new Intel CPUs are doing that. They're pretty friggin' great.
Yeah. So it'll be cool. I'm a little bit upset because I just upgraded my gaming PC 3 months ago now, and those new Intel chips are looking like they're gonna, do what new hardware always does and kind of destroy the competition. So
the one of the best things about the new shit, this is just super tech savvy stuff. Sorry, chat. Is that with the new Intel chips, the chipset motherboards, like the new Asus motherboards, the PCIe lane data like throughput is way faster.
No, it's a lot
and
faster.
That is substantial for me because I literally have 4 fucking like capture cards taking up all my PCIe slots, and I have to do all this lane mitigation in the BIOS of like telling it, okay, so don't use this here because this is a 1080p card. Put all the lanes over. Like I have to do all this shit because I was dropping frames like on an encoding on an internal level, and I had to figure out what the hell the problem was, and that was it. But now that's like fixes that shit. If it's just like, oh, so we're good, just more data throughput, and we're good to go. That makes me ridiculously excited.
Yeah, I'll probably end up getting a new streaming rig because I'm in the same situation where I've got 2 4K 60 captures and then a quad capture card as well as the video card. So I'm full up on PCI lanes.
You have a quad like Maple?
I have a quad Elgato is what I'm rocking.
Oh, okay.
Just for 1080p, like for the Switch, the camera. I think there's like there's a wireless HDMI transmitter on one of them. Then the fourth one is, I think, for like mobile capturing or something like that. But yeah.
When you say quad, you're talking about like a quad input.
Yeah, it's got 4 HDMI inputs on one card, but they're limited to 1080p 60 capture. So yeah, if you have like a 1440p or 4K, it doesn't work.
Yeah, I've had the same Magewell capture card for.
Yeah, the Magewell stuff has been like the secret streamer tech for like 5+ years now. Where outside of AverMedia and Elgato, like the industry standard stuff was all Magewell cards.
Yep. Even their little like wireless, or not wireless, but their USB 3 dongles that they have. I use those a shit ton for just like camera capture. It's great. Oh, yeah. They're super. I think we have like at least 10 of those cards by now because I keep losing them. And they're like this big. Or the USB 3 cable will like snap or something at the end. And so we just have a shit ton of those laying around. Anyways, a little bit of streamer hardware tech conversation for you.
Dude, I'm like super like nerded out and excited now because I thought there was nothing I could do about that shit. Now that I know that I can.
Yeah, but now we've now Pandora's box has been opened a little bit. Because the other thing that sucks about this new Intel is that you got to run Win 11 in a lot of cases. And Windows 11 is a little bit, it's okay. There are
that was essentially my conclusion was that, if I'm going to be running this on a streaming rig specific that is not gaming or almost anything else, it's just for streaming, I would most likely run Win 11 because Win 11 utilizes CPU way better than Win 10.
Yeah.
And it utilizes like threads. And from a very basic understanding that I have, it's just more efficient. So I'm like, well, that's better for streaming because I'm going to be encoding literally. That's all I do.
Yeah. I'll probably by the time I like actually jump in, I would hope that Windows 11 has been ironed out and all that stuff has been patched up. But we will see. We will see what happens with it. You never really know. You never know what their plan is. What else do we got going on in the world of news? Forza 5 came out, and it's now officially the largest launch of any Xbox Game Studios title ever. It's currently sitting at 4.5 million players across PC, cloud, and console. That's 3 times as high as Forza Horizon 4 was. And that's a huge win, obviously, for Xbox. So
nice. Congrats to Xbox until the next Killer Instinct, obviously.
Hey, you got it. I asked Phil about Killer Instinct for you. I'm sure he saw that.
Thank you.
I think your community spammed you with that clip. So
thank you.
Maybe he's working on it. He's got the message at least. I would be surprised if Halo doesn't smash that number in about a month from now.
Halo's free to play is going to,
it's going to be crazy. It's going to be absolutely crazy. Yeah. You also got to consider the fact that even if those 4.5 million players are just from Game Pass, that's so much fucking money. That's so much fucking money on a monthly basis. That's just insanity. So Xbox is doing well. Final Fantasy Endwalker got delayed by 2 weeks this past Friday. They basically stated that there was some QA testing that kind of was going on that they were afraid to launch, as well as server stability. So they decided to delay it by 2 weeks, and now launches on the 7th of December, with early access being the 3rd of December. Most people took it fine in terms of the community. A lot of people are pretty upset because they took paid time off and stuff like that, so they can't necessarily change it in a lot of cases. But yeah, for the most part, while it does suck for me as a streamer, because I had that's 1 day prior to Halo, and I wanted to check out Halo as well. I'll figure it out and I'll get through it. But as long as that game comes out and it delivers on the hype, then by all means, take all the time you need. And 2 weeks is not very much. So instead of next week, it's 3 weeks from now when that game launches. Some other Square Enix news, which is kind of an interesting thing to see. Square Enix just straight up came out and said that Crystal Dynamics was the wrong fit for Marvel's Avengers and called it disappointing. I think,
and then they just announced Spider-Man.
Yeah, and then that's like the next day or maybe the next couple of days after they announced that Spider-Man's finally coming out at the end of this month, as well as a raid for Marvel's Avengers. But kind of weird to see a company just be like, yeah, we gave it to the wrong dev team. And that's got to suck for that dev team. I don't think that's a feel-good moment when the president of your company is like, you guys really fucked this up. Like you weren't the right choice whatsoever.
That's very Japanese business, like bluntly.
It is, yeah.
Like they very much are like that sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is that it was all coordinated by them and it was their choice to use them. So
yeah.
And
in some way, maybe they redeemed or gained a little bit of respect as well for like just straight up admitting that like there's got to be something to be said for the PR aspect of that. That they straight up said it was the wrong fit and quote disappointing.
I think this is sort of a modern Square Enix that would do this, because in many situations, yeah, you do get these companies that can be very blunt, but you also get these companies that like, will either for some reason like defend their decisions, even though they were absolutely terrible and bad.
Yeah. And
Square's in a position where they started doing good when they accepted what they were doing was not what people wanted. And once they actually accepted that, it catapulted them forward. So this sort of feels like a continuation of that, where it's like, yeah, it's weird that they're throwing just the developer under the bus, because it definitely wasn't. Crystal Dynamics was not the people that made the choice for the game to be the way it was. They were given the task to make the game that Square Enix wanted them to make, Or
Square Enix and Marvel. Marvel probably was super heavy-handed in that relationship.
From what I understand, like Marvel games, maybe that's most likely the case. But a lot of the times in Marvel games, they're like the in-between of like the licensing, right?
Yeah.
Where they definitely have some influence and stuff like that. Whether or not it was going to be a big a really big like not single player game, like a like play as you go kind of thing, like the games as a service sort of thing. Um, I don't know if Marvel Games is potentially the ones that would have decided that. I think that might actually boil down to Square Enix.
Yeah. I mean, if having played a lot of Marvel's Avengers, most of the issues with that game, now that I think about it, I'd be very surprised if Marvel was the one saying, do X, Y, and Z. Like make this system work this way. Because all that stuff was kind of on a system level, and a mechanical level that was
For
just
sure.
that was wrong with that game. And it was also on like the multiplayer and the money making aspect of how that was going to work. Because for the most part, the story single player portion of that game was fine.
Fine.
Yeah,
It's fine.
It was when you get into the games as a service situation that it started to really crumble and fall apart. So, yeah, cool to see them at least come out and own it, from my point of view. And I hope that I hope that we still get to see other companies, especially with the success as Guardians of the Galaxy that they just had, go down that path, and we get to see more games from Square Enix and from the Crystal Dynamics team of that vein. Because Guardians of the Galaxy is fantastic, which I've ranted and raved. I'm interested to hear your thoughts a little bit later in the show. But yeah, it was really cool stuff. So hopefully we get to see more of that, and that relationship wasn't tarnished. Maybe they've evened out with the kind of colossal failure of Marvel's Avengers and the seems to be a success of Guardians of the Galaxy. So, what else is here? Keely's been talking about the Game Awards for 2021. It will be on December 9th. I think he said.
Oh yeah,
a bunch of stuff around it.
We're gonna talk about the golden joysticks last time if we have time.
Oh yeah, that's right. Maybe we'll see. Yeah. Keely said he expects the show to feature 40 to 50 games this year, somewhat or another. He added that the number of new games being announced is probably in the double digits. What else is there? It'll be a full-scale production with orchestra on stage, special celebrity guest, the awards themselves, and a slew of new game announcements. He said this year's massive lineup of games might be in some way tied to the pandemic, both because of the changed game production schedules and a reduction in video game events where titles can be shown off. So it seems like it's going to be another fun event. Like I thought last year's event was awesome. And if he just does what he did last year and throws in some awesome announcements, then I'm super on board, and we'll 100% be co-streaming that.
Almost every Game Awards has like doubled or substantially increased its viewership like every single time.
Yeah.
And you'd have to start thinking in terms of publishers wanting to get the word out on their game. The whole point is to get as many eyes as possible. And that makes him a prime target for debuts.
Yep.
Like a huge target.
I think if
so
you
much
look
so like
Elden Ring announced there, right? And that like they did wonders.
I think Final Fantasy 16 will be there.
Yeah, why not put the next biggest game you can think of from your lineup?
I think Breath of the Wild 2 might be there.
I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised. Maybe even Fable, right? The new Fable could be shown there gameplay wise. It could be.
I think whatever NetherRealm is working on too could possibly be there.
Yeah, I would think that that's a shoo-in, especially given like, you know, I think NetherRealm and Jeff Keighley go back all the way to like the Spike Awards, right? Like they were showing shit back then, so there's probably a pretty good relationship for them to.
And the MK11 reveal was Game Awards back in 2018, so
yeah, could be a good one. You were talking about the viewership. This article, Epic Games had the interview here, which is really weird, at epicgames.com on their news. It says, while the trajectory of the show will continue, Keighley continues to warn that it can't keep up the staggering pace it seems to have hit since its inception. Each year has seen sizable leap in viewership, often jumping by double-digit growth. While last year's jump from about 45 million to 83 million was huge, it actually wasn't the show's largest percentage growth, which was more than 200% from 2016 to 2017. So at some point, that show's got to stop growing the way that it has. Look, it's already massive. But they very well
bigger than E3.
Yeah, they very well could hit 100 million this year in terms of actual like unique viewers for that. So we will see.
I wonder how it
December
compares
9th.
to the Oscars.
It crushes viewership. I would have to imagine. Yeah, I mean, Oscars viewership has been declining for years, I thought.
Well, they don't do live streaming like Game Awards does, right? They don't. like the permissions and stuff are not there.
No, it's broadcast
It's different.
limited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So May 2nd, 2021, the Nielsen data for the Oscars was that it drew 9.23 million viewers, a 51%
Oh
drop
wow.
from the 18.69 million who tuned into the program in 2020. So it's dropping drastically.
And the Game Awards has sort of a one-up advantage in this, is that it's counting everything, right? Like that, the Oscars are like just on ABC or some shit, and that's it.
Yeah.
Right.
The Game Awards is broadcast through restreams, right? Like they're counting all of that. So that lends a much bigger, more comparable number that they can sell to publishers, where it's like, hey, the viewership of our event gets this on average, and it's been growing this much on average. If you would like your game to show here, this is what it'll cost. And for the whole point of game debuts, you just want as many eyes as possible. It doesn't fucking matter. So that's why E3 has always been so laser focused, because E3's pitch deck to publishers is like, this is the viewership you can be guaranteed. And now Jeff essentially has that like lock and key way bigger than almost anything.
Yep.
And I don't know if you guys have tried to watch anything that is being broadcast on live television, but it's a fucking hassle. And also, like, a lot of times you got to put in your cable provider, and I haven't had cable for fucking 10 years at least.
Yeah. I use YouTube
not like
TV.
20.
It's still not necessarily simple, but yeah, Jeff Keighley definitely embraced it. I think more so faster than anyone else in the industry for what he does and what he's produced is content with the idea of co-streaming, right? Like he led that charge, and I think the rest of the industry is catching up and realizing like, wait a minute, so we can just have these other people spread our show and they literally want nothing. Like they just want to be able to stream the content. That's crazy. And he's like, yeah, that's all we do. We just let them stream it for free. And they like that. They want that. They want to be able to watch it with their audiences. Yeah.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, E3's like, but wait a minute. Can we charge them for this? Can we give them a licensing fee? Like, how can we make money off of this? It's like, no, you dumbasses.
ESA doesn't have an exactly wonderful, luxurious history of being super generous.
Yeah. It's really silly.
Now, we know that Kojima doesn't have a game. Like, Death Stranding is not up for any awards this year. It was up for last year's, right? What are the odds that he shows up anyways? That he has a cameo of some sort?
He'll be there in some way.
You think he'll be there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
I was just curious if he needed to be on camera. Like, he gets a bad rap for like
he'll present an award
all the time.
I think he'll probably present an award if he doesn't have anything to show. He'll be there for like best game direction or some shit. Most likely.
And now for best tentacle use in a game for mobile, portable, or iPad, the nominees are.
Yeah. Yeah. Kojima will be there one way or the other. Two other bits, or at least one more bit of news. Riot released the Arcane animation show. I don't want to say anime, but the animation stuff on Netflix. Did either of you check it out yet? Have you watched Arcane?
It's on my list.
Definitely not.
I talked to Chad about it, and I talked to my lady about it, and apparently you don't have to be like a fan or even know about League of Legends to enjoy it. So I said, good, might give it a shot then. Might give it a look.
Yeah.
But I haven't yet.
Max, you came out with a definitely not. What's going on here? What do you have against?
I think League of Legends is like a tactical card-based first-person shooter.
But what if I don't know if I could sell you on this, and it's not necessarily my job to do so, but having watched it, what if and this is it is, in my opinion, granted, not necessarily a lofty, not something to like toot your own horn about, but it's the best video game adaptation I've seen in media thus far. And the animation quality is up there with some of the best I've seen, like Pixar levels of animation.
Better than Witcher?
I could say this because Ko's not here and his audience is not here. The Witcher Netflix show was actually bad. It was just good because it was serviceable, and it was The Witcher.
I knew you were my homie.
I'm excited for season 2 of The Witcher. Don't get me wrong, right? Like, you can't go wrong with Henry Cavill, and you can't go wrong with everyone else in that show. They're great. They're fantastic to look at. And I'm sure the stories will be better. And it was based off a book as well, not a game. So there's that thing as well. But yeah, Arcane is actually legitimately like it's fantastic. It's actually good. Definitely want to try and tell everyone to watch it if you're at all inclined in animation. I wouldn't even say you have to be interested in League of Legends. It's in fact better if you don't know the characters.
Better comparison. Castlevania animated.
Yeah, that one's different for me as well, because I feel like the story, like the action in Castlevania is more adult themed. Yep. But that's not to say that the animation and the fight sequences in Arcane aren't adult. And if anything, they're a lot more serious, if that makes sense. Like Arcane is a dark fucking show. Like it's not a cheery show. It's not like a Pixar jokey, that style of show. It's pretty dark. But Castlevania is also good. But I would say, in my opinion, it's better than Castlevania. Cool. And if you care at all about like popular opinion, I think Arcane was like number 38, or number 1 in 38 countries on Netflix in the world or something like that. So it seems like it's captured a lot of interest across the board. So
give it a shot then.
Yeah, it's definitely worth checking out. So, and there's only 3 episodes out. I think the next 3 episodes are out Saturday. Then the final arc is next Saturday. So it's not out there fully.
They've said they're doing 9 for this season.
Yeah. And I think they've already said that they're going to plan on making more stuff due to the success of this. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. I think if that all leads and they build in the lore and create, because the lore has always been a little bit hit or miss, and they've done so much revamping of that stuff in the League of Legends world. If they nail all of that stuff, do 3 or 4 more of these seasons of or style of animation for Arcane with a bunch more, and then they launch an MMO out of that they're working on, or launch a fighting game that they're working on, it could obviously do very well. And that seems like that would be a smart plan. So I will eagerly await the MMO. Max, what about the fighting game for Riot? Are you at all? Does that get you to play a League of Legends thing? Are you still just like, no?
It will. Like, I'll definitely. I mean, that easily has a chance to be like a huge fighting game for the fighting game community, much less fighting games in general. And I am curious, because League does have like a really interesting cast of characters that feel like they would complement a fighting game really well.
Yeah.
The problem is that I've heard of this League of Fighters game for like what feels like 7 fucking years.
Yeah.
And it from what I understand, it has gone through so many different iterations and changes, and people that have worked there no longer work there, it's hard for me to be excited about it in any way anymore until we eventually just see something. And apparently we are going to see something a bit later this year.
Oh, we got a month left, Max.
What's that?
We got a month left in the year.
There apparently is supposed to be a small update. I don't know if it's going to be a trailer, but something from the devs at the end of this year talking about it in some way.
Nice.
So I just hope it really isn't like a watered down, very like simplistic, controlled esports kind of fighting game. I hope it's something that allows for a little bit of creativity. And, I don't know. Like, there's so many fighting games now that specifically tone down mechanics and stuff like that. And it really ends up being sort of harmful for the game in the long run, because people just get disinterested really fast. So I hope it has a lot of really fun, creative stuff that you can do with its characters.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I mean, maybe that pops up at the Game Awards this year, right? Riot's got a lot of hype around it right now with Arcane out there, and they just announced like a rhythm game or something like that yesterday.
And just out of curiosity, that fighting game is with LOL characters.
Yes.
Yeah, that's that's the hope. That's what everyone's saying.
The not title of it is League of Fighters.
That's what everyone's calling it in the industry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
And there could be, right? Like, I think there's 135 characters in League of Legends.
I was just gonna say that. Like, holy,
it's probably gonna start with
Smash
6
Brothers
to 8.
Suck it as far as characters go.
Can you imagine if it goes well and the game is good and they launch with 8 characters? They could Super Smash Brothers the fuck out of that game.
As they should.
with trailers like dropping once a month or every 2 months for like 20 years. Right?
As they should.
It'd be great if they pull it off. Yeah, that would be huge. And that fan base would go wild for it. They'd be rabid every time one of those trailer hits, right? It'd be
Oh yeah.
super fun. Super fun to be a part of. Let's talk about what you guys have been playing. Zeke, what you want to do? Max? You
Start
want to
with
do
him.
Zeke? Okay,
Start with Max.
Max, what have you been playing? I know you played Guardians.
Yeah,
Were you? Did you finish it?
I did finish it.
What do
Yeah.
you think of Guardians? I came on here and ranted and raved about how good the dialogue was and the gameplay was like serviceable, but that game really shines through with the dialogue and the story. At least
Yeah,
that
I
was kind of
think
my summation of the game.
after settling on it for some time, I think it's like a 9 out of 10. I think it's still like really damn good,
Yeah.
shockingly way better than I thought it was going to be. I think the gameplay does lead for some really fun stuff. I actually do think I enjoy the team mechanics in the environments even more so sometimes than the combat stuff. Because I only find Star-Lord to be so interesting as the main combat guy, like the shooter McPew dude.
Yeah.
But I really, really, really enjoyed. Dang, like you can use Drax to lift this big thing and then jump up to get to Gamora, where she's going to throw you up here. I'm like, this is really sick. I actually hope they do
Side
something like
note,
this with FF7 remake in the future.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw my tweet or saw whatever, but apparently Glenn Howerton, who plays Dennis on Always Sunny in Philadelphia, was like one of the top choices to be Star-Lord.
Really?
Yeah. And I would have loved to have seen that version of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah. I mean, I think from like, and Max, I'm curious you're up there in terms of Marvel fandom with me. I feel like Star-Lord, and maybe as he should be, is the least interesting voice and character in this game.
Yeah, I think I agree in comparison to everybody else, but I would say he's a better Star-Lord than the movies.
Oh, 100%. Every character is a better character.
Every character is almost better than the movies, right? Yeah.
And that's not saying the movies are bad. They just have
No.
20 hours to flesh out characters in this, and they're awesome.
Yeah.
They do a great job.
I mean, you could throw 20 hours at anything. That doesn't mean it's going to be good. They're actually really effective at their character storytelling, and some of the moments that take place during this, I'm like,
You're not wrong.
I had an epiphany about this game as I was playing it, and one of the devs for not this game, but what I was about to make comparison to, noticed it at the same time while he was watching me play it. This game is just God of War. In so many ways, like the sequence of events, what happens, like the same way, like in God of War, that you have to go through this crazy trial with like Zeus, or I'm sorry, with like, all like the crazy mind prison Helheim stuff. Like there's stuff just like that. I'm like, dude, this game is like in the same way the combat in God of War is you commanding boy and you doing cool stuff with
That's
dad.
very true.
Yeah, this is you just have a team of the boy, and you just give them commands of what to do. It's like I'm like, damn, this game is more so than anything. I think it's more God of War than at the end of it, with some Mass Effect mixed in, and some Uncharted.
It's very true. I think you mentioned the story beats. They have this miraculous ability in this game to go from like super serious moment where Drax is talking about his dead family, then to like making a joke about Peter Quill's dead mom. Like in the span of like a minute. And you're just like, maybe
the writing is shockingly good.
A little bit of like whiplash in the writing, but in like a good way. I think there's even like the joke that I'm directly thinking of is Quill looking at Drax's rap sheet and saying, "Man, this is long." And Drax makes a joke like, "Yeah, that's what your mom thought as well." And then Rocket Raccoon says, and she's dead. And like 3 lines. And it's just like, Jesus Christ, they actually like went there. And there wasn't a moment in this game where I wasn't laughing in like a 5-minute period. The writing was just so snappy.
And even the moment to moment dialogue and stuff like that is genuinely good. Like there's not a lot of there's prime opportunity in this game for there to be a ton of cringy shit.
Yeah.
Like in the same way that it was presented in the trailers, which comes across as a ton of cringy shit. And it isn't here. Like I find it funny that Square Enix's marketing of this game is a huge disservice to how good the game actually is.
You're not wrong. I remember when this showed last year, Zeke was on the show with me, and I think Jesse and Dodger and Co were all there. And we all came out of their like premiere of the gameplay of this thinking like, wow, that looks really bad. Like that didn't look show good at all. And it was just
Yeah.
nonstop banter and the comments like, I hope they don't talk
And
the entire
it was
game. Yeah.
no context. It wasn't funny.
Yeah.
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 And you play it and it's everything but that. It's really weird.
Well, after the trailer, I was like, the only thing I could think was like, shut up. God, fucking got it, dude.
Yeah. It didn't do that well in that regard, but definitely if you're at all Marvel adjacent, like I'll echo what I said when we talked about on the show prior, definitely check this game out. It is one of the best games of the year, in my opinion.
Easily.
And the writing
your contender 100%.
Yeah, the writing.
How many hours for you both, respectively?
15, 20?
Pretty dang long. Like
yeah.
13-ish.
Okay. I was somewhere in the teens. I want to say it was 15, 20.
Like 13 to 16-ish.
Yeah.
You know, even if you're going pretty fast, it keeps going, and it doesn't feel like it's overstaying its welcome either, or it doesn't feel padded.
Yeah, the writing is so smart because it's hard to say. They make allusions in the writing to things that as a Marvel fan, you're like, holy fucking shit, that just got name dropped. That's so obtuse and crazy and like, oh my God, I can't believe they would reference that. And then things happen in the story and you're like, wait a minute. Like, what the fuck's going on?
Right? I had another realization as we were playing through this, and I'm like, this is really good. Is this going to be held in direct comparison to the next Guardians movie? I think it is, where people are going to be saying, man, that Guardians of the Galaxy game was way better than that new Guardians movie, which, I mean, as a spoiler, might be some very similar story plot content type stuff that happens.
You're not wrong. Yeah. Yes. I will agree with you 100%. Knowing who was just cast in Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Yes, there will be a lot of similar story beats, I think, throughout that film. And I also wondered, like, if James Gunn, the director, has even played this or knows of this existence, and if he'll draw from it at all and try to go different routes so that he's not necessarily, drawing direct comparisons, because this was done so well. He might not give a fuck at all. But
yeah. You'd think there would be communication in some way on that front, but you'd be surprised.
Right. He really would be. I feel like James Gunn seems like he's a gamer, right? Like he's got to be aware that this exists in one form or the other, but I don't know if he has 20 hours to sit down and play this necessarily. Especially when like production, I think, just started Monday for Guardians 3. So he might be a little bit busy, and it seems like that script is probably already set in stone. So cool. You give it a thumbs up. You're into it. Tell people to play it.
Yeah. Two thumbs up, and we played it insanely compromised, which is the streamer mode.
Yeah.
And that it is a significantly compromised experience that normal people will not have to deal with. And dude, I don't know if you've gone back and watched some of the cutscenes, but like
the soundtrack's incredible.
Cutscenes are awesome with the music. I was like, dude, this is so like the musical riffs to like 80s tracks and stuff like that. The times to all the scenes. I'm like, this is so much cooler. And I still give it really a glowing review, even without that.
Same. Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. Zeke, you definitely need to play it, I think, for Game of the Year discussion. Because I think Co played it and he was super into it. So it'll pop back up.
I honestly, I forgot to pick it up last week. I just picked it up now.
Yeah.
I actually put a poll in my chat to see like what would be your level of excitement to see me stream it rather than, just play it on my own.
I mean, I'll echo again what Max just said. Like, the game is definitively better with the music, with streamer mode off. So if you don't stream it, you might actually enjoy it more, especially knowing how in tune you are with the 80s.
It, actually.
Like, well, if I did it, if I streamed it, I'd stream it with the music, but I would tick that like delete pods as soon as I'm done thing.
Yeah, I know a handful of streamers have done that as well. So.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Probably the right play. Max, Call of Duty Vanguard, you spend much time with it?
Yeah, I spent a couple of days. It's more Call of Duty, right? But it does things that I really like, which is large scale map player engagement. The blitz mode thing allows you to get like 10v10, 15 versus 15, 24 versus 24 on like mid to large scale maps. So that I've always been a fan of like the ground war style playlist in Call of Duty, and it's gone away for a long time. But if they do bring it back, like in Modern Warfare, it's on these giant maps where it's like, okay, it doesn't really even matter if we're 64 versus 64 at this point. Anyway, yeah, I'm actually really enjoying it, weirdly enough, and it just feels like a modern take of World at War,
Nice.
which was the old WW2, the last big WW2 pre WW2 Call of Duty.
Yeah. I know we had Jericho on last time you were on as well, and we were talking to him about it. I think, to get his opinion into the show, he's said it's one of his favorite CODs in a long time. He's super into it. He's been playing a lot of it. So seems like
fun.
It's a good year for COD.
Yeah.
It seems
it's
like
weird
back.
because on the surface level, it looks awful. It really looks like one of the most phoned in like things there is, but shockingly when you play it, it's super fun.
Yeah.
And it's got some great kill streaks and shit. I'm not been into Call of Duty multiplayer in a hell of a long time. This is probably the most I've played in a while. So I'm actually almost up to 1 full prestige, which is the last time I even got that far was Black Ops 2.
That's a lot of COD. You've been gaming. Yep. Did you play single player at all?
No.
Yeah. Okay. I've heard it's okay, but I haven't actually talked to any streamer friends that have played through it. It's about to be 5 or 6 hours, so it's not too much of a commitment. But yeah. Anything else, Max? You want to bring up? I'm kind of scrolling through your VOD list,
dude. Bring just so I can chat about it. Bring up the stream from last night, the Cyclops / Psylocke mods for Ultimate Marvel 3, and scroll to like the later quarter of the video or something like that.
Are we close?
This is exactly it. So I am playing Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, arguably one of the best fighting games of all time, and this is a special modified version of the game where fans have essentially fan modded in other Marvel vs. Capcom characters that never made it into this game.
Oh, nice.
So Psylocke, for example, and Cyclops, you'll see them in a second. Cyclops is modded in after C. Viper, the old Street Fighter 4 character that's in this game, but heavily tuned to play like Cyclops from Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
Damn.
So
it's a lot of work.
And it's a shit ton of work. And here's the crazy part. This engine is a super unique Capcom engine that doesn't exist for like a ton of games and doesn't have a lot of documentation. So to actually do any of this stuff is ridiculously hard. These guys don't even have a model importer. So they cannot import models from other games like every game kind of can. So here's Cyclops, right?
Yeah.
This Cyclops mod is just like an existing character that has been so finely tuned. His shoulders are busted because it's all over a female model and the size comparison's all messed up. But the coolest part is that it literally plays like Cyclops, like from MVC2. It's so much work and effort that it's crazy. And fans have made like 17 to 18 different characters like this, like classic stars Chris, Psylocke. Somebody put in Captain Marvel from Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite and put that over Nova, which makes a lot of sense.
That makes sense, yeah.
So, and made them play like the other versions of the characters. Watching me get my ass kicked because I'm using this new character. But yes, Cyclops is like shockingly functional. And if I get to see eventually a super or something like that, I'm having an absolute goddamn blast with this character, dude. Like
the shoulders are busted,
fun as hell. He looks weird because yes, like they do not have a model importer. Like everything is jankily kind of put together in many ways. But the crazy part is the gameplay. And the fans of the game, the modders, are trying to get a model importer from some pretty big programmers that can figure it out. And it's coming along. So pretty soon they'll take a model from like Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 and just stick it in here and then re-rig it a little bit. And that can actually happen. So it's badass, man. This game is great. I'm playing it online through Parsec right now, and we're having a great time.
That's awesome. I know this is part of a much, much larger discussion, but does this type of stuff benefit in terms of it being created and leading to Marvel or leading to Capcom being like, oh, maybe we should actually make another something of these? Like, does that help at all?
I'd say definitely not. I'd say Capcom probably doesn't even know this stuff exists.
Really?
Yeah, Capcom is pretty offhands when it comes to mods. They don't seem to give a shit. And whether or not that influences stuff or has like a big impact, maybe if it's like huge, like really blows up on social media or something like that. But when it comes to mods, Capcom is pretty like completely offhand to the point where they're just going to ignore it, which is a good thing because they won't like take it down unless you try to sell it.
Right. Okay. I guess well, maybe they should sell it, get their attention.
True. It's true.
Yeah. Cool. Also, how do if people are interested in grabbing this, where should they look? What should they do?
Ultimate Marvel 3 is available on PC for super cheap, in the range of like less than $5 sometimes on Steam. And the modded files are on Game Banana. It's called Palette Swap. And yes, it palette swaps in the alternate costumes of characters as completely unique characters. And there's like 18 in that palette swap, and there's several.
Damn.
Somebody put in Super Scroll as M. Bison. And
That
yes,
makes
it's
sense.
a Marvel vs. Capcom version of like M. Bison with Super Scroll with like a red cloak. But since no model importer, he plays very much like a M. Bison, MVC2 Bison, which is awesome.
I mean, in a lot of ways, is he doing the Bison arm cross? Because I could see a Scroll doing the Bison arm cross.
Well, the crazy part is that I don't know if he does, because they have to take animations that exist in the game already. That's how this stuff is done.
So if Bison's not in the game, then
yeah. So here's a crazy backstory of it, is that you have like 52 something characters in the game to pull animations from. That's the thing that they can easily swap.
Right.
So they're making characters by essentially reusing animations and assets and just tweaking those and hitboxes and yada yada yada. But the game came with a mode called Heroes and Heralds. And Heroes and Heralds allowed you to like customize gameplay. Like you can add air dashes to characters or parries or weird shit, right? And it was a mode that was largely forgotten by a lot of people. However, in Heroes and Heralds, there's a ton of assets, things that modders can use to create new shit. And that's
cool.
what they've done. They've used all of these assets that are actually in Heroes and Heralds, something that everyone forgot about, to make literally brand new characters. So it's awesome. It's a ton of effort. It's a ton of work. And I just got the chance to fire it up last night because I've been waiting for the model importer. And I'm like, you know what? Screw it. And I had a fucking blast. Cyclops is so much fun. It's ridiculous.
That's great. That's cool stuff. Yeah, it's after Guilty Gear, I definitely have my eyes on more fighting games of like, maybe I can dip my toes in this, but at least not now. We'll have to see. What is the next big fighting game that's coming out? What's like the
King?
Oh, that's right.
King of Fighters 15.
King of Fighters, yeah. That's a giant hurdle to get over, right? For a new fighting game player, that's a tough one.
KOF 15 is definitely going to be a bit more accessible. With still having a lot of crazy stuff. It's going to have a pretty big roster too. It's like 38 characters at the start.
Jesus. Okay.
So, yeah, but it's a team game. It's not a tag team game. It's a team game.
Yeah. It's like one character, you have to exhaust their whole bar, then you fight the other.
Yes.
Okay. That's how it works. Cool. Mario Party, by the way, are you upset about Mario?
I'm upset that there's a very, very low amount of maps. Once again, that's super disappointing. However, the maps that they have put in there are pretty damn good, and the minigame collection is pretty damn good. It's caused for some great drama.
Yeah, Zeke, we might need to put a Mario Party. I don't know if we would survive a Mario Party.
I was just going to say that, dude. I want to play Mario Party with you guys.
Dude, Mario
Party. But I don't know if you want to play with me.
Dude, Mario Party.
That one's online. This one actually has functional online.
Does it work well? Do you have to have the Nintendo Online Pass thing, or do you not know?
I don't know, because I've only played it local.
Okay. All right. I think I've seen like Hassan and Sykkuno and all them, Valkyrie, they're all playing online. It seems fine. So, yeah.
No. My chat, not Mario Kart. I'm never, ever playing that on stream ever again. Probably never in life ever again. Mario Party, different story.
Yeah. Mario Party, though, is a little bit more rage-inducing with just like the RNG nonsense that can just fuck you in that game is biblical.
Yes, I'm cool with that. I like that. That's fine.
All right. Yeah, we might need to.
I'd love to play a competitive, low entry level game.
Yeah,
I love those kind of games. Fall Guys was the last one I remember being like, I loved playing it.
Yeah, true. Zeke, Dread, did you finish it? I know last time Max was on, we talked about it as well, so I'm glad he's back to hear your thoughts on it.
Yep. Played it, finished it in I think 3 days or something, like 3 streams, something like that. I think I wasn't going for 100%. I usually don't go for 100% first playthroughs. I mean, I didn't avoid anything. I did go out of my way, like, oh, what's that over there? I went out of my way to get stuff. but I didn't like look up a guide or FAQ about like how to get all of the shit in every level. So I think I ended up 59%. I think it was like
I was
item
about
get.
the same.
Yeah. But dude, this game is fucking fantastic. It's everything you want in a 2D Metroid. People consistently ask me like, what other Metroid games you played? Well, I played all of the 2D ones. I played 2 of the primes. I didn't play the third one. The first person, I mean, it was good, but it just didn't appeal to me. But the 2D ones definitely do, and this is definitely up there as far as like my favorite Metroid game. It would be arguable, like definitely top 3, but probably like it would probably be competition between Super Metroid and this game, because my favorite it's a weird choice, but my favorite is Metroid 2 on the original fucking Game Boy, because I loved the story of it. It was just a fantastic like story with twists and stuff. But
yeah,
getting past the story, but the gameplay is absolutely wonderful, save one thing. And I don't like to point out the bad shit when everything else is fucking excellent, like A plus. I absolutely loved it, but there is one thing, and I don't know like why they did it, and it doesn't. I don't remember it being the same in the other games, but that fucking double jump in Metroid Dread, that you have to wait for it. You have to wait for the second jump. And I'm not talking about, I know the difference. Don't fucking talk down to me and be like, oh, you have to spin before you do it. It's like, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the straight up jump where you don't spin. I'm talking about after you start spinning, you cannot immediately fucking jump again.
Oh, there's a delay to it?
Yes. And I fucking hated that.
I ran into that same
weird game that I hated.
I ran into that same weird timing in Super Metroid as well. It took me a while to get used to it, where it's like I forget what it actually has a name. It's like the name of the double spin. Yeah. And it took me a while to get the hang of it. In this game, it feels a bit looser still, but it's still absolutely there, where it's like they almost use Super Metroid as like a primer of how.
No, I'm not talking
Space Jump?
Just to clarify, I'm not talking about Space Jump, which is the boing, 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 boing. I'm talking about now that's always been a rhythm. Now I get that. I'm talking about the very first jump after the very second jump. So it's a jump and then the double jump before you even get Space Jump. They give you a double jump. And you use that for the rest of the game. But it's so unresponsive. Space Jump has always been like you have to do it in time. Totally understand that, totally get it. But like just the very next jump after this first is just a fucking mess, and I hated it. And I don't remember it being like that. I don't remember it being like delayed. But past that,
apart from that, yeah,
that was the only thing that I didn't like about the game. Everything else was fucking phenomenal. The locations, the puzzles. I love doing the few that I did. I love doing the speed block puzzles. Like figuring out how to build up that speed and get in there, and like you got to jump over there and you got to, slide. Then figuring that shit out was super fun, and I'm looking forward to going back to the game on my own time and doing all of those and finding all the nooks and crannies and shit. The boss fights, very very good, very well done. Boss fights, elite fights. I really enjoyed the urgency that the robot section. I really like that. I like the urgency that it gave to the game. The feeling of like, shit, I got to get through this. The dread part, I guess.
Yeah.
It was a nice like pace breaker too, so the game isn't the exact same thing the whole time.
Totally. And the feeling you get when you actually like guess right on the robot parry. That's awesome. That's an awesome feeling when you're like, plow, and you're like, yeah, get fuck off me. And you run away again. Like,
I didn't realize, because I didn't play like the Samus Returns remake, that there's this engagement with like the post parry cutscenes and stuff like that, where you can like blast the enemies. Until like the latter portion of the game, I was like, wait a minute, I can shoot missiles during this, and that gives you the most like eat shit like kind of feeling when you're in a cutscene, like blasting the fuck out of this guy in the face. I'm like, I love this, man. This is so cool.
Oh, totally. There is one other minor thing I would change about the game, and I don't know, like, it's been so long since I played another Metroid before this that I don't know. It felt like, or if I remember, the missile button wasn't it a toggle? Toggle misses on, toggle misses off. Like go from
Yeah,
gun, go to miss. I
because you had to
hated
go from
holding
like
down
you
the
had to
button.
switch to super missiles, right?
I hated holding down the button. I don't want to hold down the button. I just want to toggle for the missiles. Like I want to turn them on, leave them on, turn off. Because half the fights I was just holding down buttons, and I hate doing that. Like
Yeah.
it seems ridiculous to do that. In fact, I'm
And-
holding the rubber band. This is my boss fight rubber band, where I rubber band down my bumper. So I didn't have to hold.
This is definitely one of those games where like every single combination of every single button on your controller is going to get utilized in some way, and by the time you're fighting the last guy, you're going to have to do all of it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but my gripes with this are very, very minor.
Did you finish it, Zeke?
Sometimes,
you did, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Got to the boss fight. Last boss, I think took me about 45 minutes of trying, doing it again. But man, what a fun fucking fight! It felt like back in the day when you were when I first played like Mega Man 2, and you get to Dr. Wily, and you're like, oh shit, there's another thing. Oh shit, oh my god! And then you like die, and you come back and you're like, all right, I'm a little wiser now. Let's fucking do this. You know, that's what it felt like. It was very, very fun.
Nice. Yeah, this was I tried it on a plane when I was going home for family purposes, and might have not been in the best headspace for it because I got about 30 minutes in. I was like, I think I'm just gonna watch some West Wing, and then I started watching some West Wing. So
Sure.
I will probably need to go back to it to at least put some time into it because I think it'll. Did Cope play this at all, Zeke? I don't know if he has. I don't know if he played Metroid.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
he did. Okay.
I think he did. Right.
It'll probably come up in Game of the Year again, I would think, in some factor. So
Yeah, it's definitely
He has
a
not
good
yet.
contender.
yeah, okay. Well,
Oh yeah, no, this is definitely on my short list
nice,
of games of the year for sure.
nice.
It's really, really good, and I'm so glad that they decided.
Zeke, did you
that
play
2D
Returnal?
Fuck yeah, I did. That's also
we were on the same show.
Yeah.
Right? We were on the show together, and we all talked about that.
I was about to say, I remember that conversation because it was like 7 months ago or something like that.
I don't think Zeke
But-
had played it at that point, though. He played it
okay.
recently. Yeah.
So yeah, there's already a lot of like spiritual influence all over Returnal with like Metroidisms and stuff like that. So I was just like eating this shit up, dude. I'm like, oh my god, because I had never played Super Metroid until this year, and before this game came out, before Dread. So I really was like all about it in 2021. I'm sorry, in this year, trying to figure out all this stuff that I'd never been experienced before. And Returnal was like the beginning of it. And man, I loved the shit out of that game.
Yeah.
Max, did you play the other game that I'm debating on whether, but I've heard a lot of hype, is Deathloop? Did you play it?
I didn't. No, I just never had a chance to jump into it.
Yeah, I didn't.
Just curious if you would recommend it or not.
I think that'll probably pop. I think Co liked that a lot. A lot of people. That game seemed very divisive. Like,
Yeah.
You either really liked that game or you really hated that game. No
There
one was
was a
kind of
moment
like
where it seemed
lukewarm on it.
like there was a moment when it came out and it seemed like, oh, me passing on this because it obviously felt like it was just shown in trailers for way too much for way too long.
God damn, that game had so many trailers, dude.
Yeah, and it was just like, okay, so it's going to come out and it's just going to be a thing. It's either going to be amazing or it's not. But then it comes out and it gets some really good glowing, like, damn, this game's actually super good.
Yeah.
And then you wait like a week and then all the impressions seem to have changed. We're like, oh no, the AI is super stupid. And no,
Totally.
actually it's not that good. Like the beginning of it sort of like feels like it caught everyone by eye. And then I was like, oh, maybe I'll give it a shot. And then just a few days later, I'm like, oh, maybe not.
Yeah. I'm right there with you. That I watched that in real time, just like you did. So I never touched it. Heard it was all right. But I didn't play it. So I checked out 2 other games. Won't spend too long on them. Lost Ark, the MMO ARPG that's been out forever in Korea. They did their closed beta test, or I don't know. Who cares? The game was playable. I don't know what it's fucking called these days. There's so many different names for this shit. The game was playable over the past weekend, and turns out it's very good. I was surprised. I watched a lot of in-game raiding. This is like one of the first big dungeons that you can do in the game. Full disclosure, I was sponsored to play it, but I had a great time with it when I played it. And I was watching Dat Mods, who is like an ARPG PoE streamer last night, do a bunch of the end game raids, and that stuff seems wild and very, in a lot of ways, like Final Fantasy telegraphed in terms of all the boss mechanics, and also very complex and also difficult as well when it comes to the end game raids. So whenever this ends up launching in 2022, I'll end up checking it out. Seems like it's going to be a good time, at least for, however many hours you want to spend in it. It seems like it's going to be a lot. I think to hit 50, it takes about 15 to 20 hours. And then like all the end game shit that you can do starts to multiply and really flesh out that game time to, hundreds of hours, depending on how much you want to spend. Cause first and foremost, it is an MMO, right? So that's got all of that stuff already built into it. And I think it's got 2 or maybe 3 years of development already on it in Korea. And so they're launching with a shit ton of content here in the US when it comes out sometime next year, hopefully early next year, with a lot of other stuff already waiting in the wings to be added to it. So should be a cool time. And I'll definitely be checking it out then. The other game that I played was Forza Horizon. We talked about that in the news. For Forza Horizon 5. And hey, it's more Forza. If you've played Forza Horizon 4, they polished the shit out of it though. And it is a full-on open world driving game. A lot of people, I don't know if I would say, I don't play that many open world driving games, but a lot of people have said it's one of the best of all time. The reviews
you say
for
it's a driving ass game.
It's a driving ass game. That game reviewed very, very well. And will probably pop up on a lot of people's game of the year. It is polished as shit. It is super fun to play. It's a lot of fun just to jump in with friends, and the open world aspect is a very good time. It's also the easiest sell and the biggest sell in that game is it's on Game Pass. So if you are at all curious about checking that game out, the intro alone, if you have the setup for like a 4K OLED with HDR, the intro alone in that game is fucking drop dead gorgeous. It is awe-inspiring how good that game looks. If you can run it at like 4K 60 with everything maxed out, it is.
It really seemed like Microsoft has eclipsed Gran Turismo at this point.
Yeah, fully. I mean, it's more arcadey than Gran Turismo. Like it does have sim aspects to it, but it is by no means a sim racer. I think Gran Turismo still kind of lies in that sim racing world, more so than it does in the arcade racing world. So I think just by that alone, its audience is kind of clipped.
It's funny to me, like to say that Forza is like an arcade racing game when my perspective of arcade racing games is like Sega.
Crazy Taxi and shit.
Well, like specifically Daytona USA Sega Rally.
Sure.
Like Cruisin' Blast that just came out. Like Cruisin' was like a perfect example of an arcade racing game. To me, like Forza always is closer to like the simulation element of it.
It has sim aspects. Yeah, there's no denying. Yeah. Right, like you can go in and say like, I want this car to be front loaded towards the front tires. No, not at all. Also, Burnout Paradise, the best arcade racing game of all time. May they rest in peace. Although Burnout Takedown might have been better. I'll keep preaching it till the end of days. Just give me a crash mode in a fucking racing game. It's the best racing element of any game I've ever played. And unfortunately, you can't do it anymore because car manufacturers don't want their fucking cars to be manhandled in a video game. And so you just can't do it. But I really want it.
Stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. Damn those companies for not wanting their products to be destroyed and portrayed in that manner. I get it. I understand.
Remember the movie Twister? That movie was basically a Dodge Ram commercial where they just fucked up their truck the whole time.
Yeah, but it still ran at the end. It still ran at the end though.
I do got to give Forza credit with all the crazy, I can't remember which one it was, but all the crazy customization you can do in that game actually finalized me when I was tuning up my car, and I wanted to see like, what if I did this, and this? I literally just bought the car in Forza and just made the customizations myself, did like all the trimmings the way I wanted to do it, and I was like, okay, we're good. Like, yep, I'm making the right decision. Like it was kind of neat to have a game that allowed me to do that before I
Sure.
committed, the money.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been one of the friends of the stream, Julia, who's also an emote artist. It's kind of known Twitch wide. She got into the like decal or wrap aspect, the art aspect of Forza, and so she's
Sure.
been designing a bunch of that shit. And that at its base, that is just a bunch of circles and squares and shapes in order to create like full on masterpieces. She picked it up in like a fucking day. And I was just like, how do you do this? Like, how is your brain able to just turn this random circle into like an actual fully fledged character, like rendition of Donald Duck or some shit?
Right.
That system continues to escape me and my capabilities, but she picked it up in a day. So it's been really cool to see all of the artists. When that game launched, they usually invite a bunch of the well-known artists to kind of create a bunch of stuff. So it's stockpiled. And it's wild.
Does that have like a user community like selling aspect where you can sell your own?
You can't sell for real money. It's all in game. It's all in game credits.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Damn it. I thought that'd have been badass if people like just create the most incredible thing and you get a cut of it.
Yeah, you can determine how many in-game credits you will sell the what liveries or the skins for. But yeah, it's not like an NFT or anything like that. Okay. We're not Discord over here. We didn't even talk about that. Did y'all see that shit that Discord wants to get into the NFT and blockchain world?
I want to have next.
No, you don't. No, we're not going to spend any time talking about this shit. I'm not going to even try to explain.
I want to have Ko on and you, and I want to have an unironic discussion about NFTs because I
don't want to have that conversation
about this shit.
I don't know what they are still, and I am trying to remain ignorant.
Man.
I don't want to know.
Yeah, well,
I'm trying to remain ignorant.
It's yeah. Yeah.
Trying to live the examined life, like Plato and Socrates said.
Well, it's one of those things where it's like even at its like most base explanation, I still probably couldn't do a good job. And I honestly, admittedly, don't know all there is to do it. It all just feels and seems like a giant racket and a scam. And I know that's
I don't want to talk about it now.
Yeah. Well, that's why I don't want to have the conversation for it, because I feel like the people that are pro NFT and pro all that shit. It has gotten to the point now where the discussion itself is so volatile that it's on like it's become like political in a lot of ways. Like it's that level of discussion.
You can't even talk about it without fucking people.
No, because
wow,
it's that level of like line in the sand for a lot of people, of like if you're on one side or the other.
I have no idea.
And now even in the streamer world, like this past week, there was a ton of streamers that like were doing sponsored streams for NFT things, and like the amount of money got out for how much they were, like $300,000 was the number being tossed around for one of the top streamers for doing a sponsored stream talking about NFTs and shit like that. And so, you know, I don't know. It's a wild conversation, and not necessarily one that I'm super well equipped to handle. And I unfortunately don't know if I want the person to come on, whoever they may be. I don't know who it would be. I don't know if I want to know that person that is well equipped to handle that conversation, right? Like I don't want to know that person at the end of the day. So
I'll save it for my chat and see what they think.
It's an interesting one for sure. And I think it's obviously a hot topic, right? Like people love talking about it. There's no doubt about it. As we're entering into the metaverse and all that bullshit, but
like I could write down like 5 things I know about it, but they don't fit in any way I can tell.
Yeah. Max's situation and to an extent your situation of just being ignorant might be the best case scenario at the end of the day.
Until it just goes away.
Yeah, until it goes away or it becomes an actual thing that you need to care about, which I don't know if it ever will. Yeah, it is what it is.
We're going to start investing in memes.
Yeah.
It's going to be meme investments. I'm going to I'll take 10
call
stock of Amazon. I'll take 10 of this. I'll take 50 of them, firing my laser. That's what it's going to be in the future.
They're trading memes like stock.
Yes.
We're champ. Sell.
Well, have you read any of the horror stories of people in the NFT world and how bad they've just fucked themselves over? They're hilarious.
This whole crypto thing as well. Yeah.
Yeah. They're absolutely hilarious. I think there was one where it was, I don't know the monetary value, $1 million. It was at least $1 million. And this guy had $1 million and it was a photo of something. And the guy, he sent it to someone that said he wanted to see the NFT. So he sent him the image, but that is the NFT. So the guy just said, hey, this is mine now. Thanks. And just stole the NFT that this guy paid $1 million for. And then the guy tried to go to the people that regulate NFTs and say hey, this guy stole it. But the way that NFTs recognize who owns it is who literally holds the NFT. And so he just fucked himself by handing
I have so many questions and I don't want them answered.
Yeah. So, it's just what? It's just ridiculous. That was my baseline thing. Yeah. It's crazy. Also,
is it a JPEG with a barcode?
Let's not talk about it. I don't want to talk about it.
Stop it.
We can get into it.
It's not.
I got shit to do.
Kind of, but not really. Anyways, yeah, it's advanced. Let's just say that. It's not advanced. It's convoluted on purpose in a lot of ways. Also, to circle back, Co just hit us up in Slack. The amount of people that have linked me, itmeJP's take on Witcher should be illegal. Thanks, chat. You got me in trouble with Dad. Thanks, chat. You guys are great. Let's do some shout outs. Except to my traders. Y'all can go fuck yourself. How about that? Max, what do you got going on? What's coming up? I know you're on an hour and a half of sleep. Thank you for showing up to the show today and chatting Elden Ring with us. I appreciate that. It's that dad time that you're on right now.
That energy, yeah.
Yeah.
Right now, the biggest thing that's coming up for me is going to be the King of Fighters beta. I know that the Elden Ring network test is happening this Friday with weird streaming requirements. Not requirements, actually. As a result, so we'll see what happens there. I'm going to sort of gauge the situation and move forward accordingly. I think me and JP have talked about this.
Yeah.
But yeah, King of Fighters beta is happening. I'm going to be playing a few more fighting games. There's actually not a ton at the end of this year. But then next year begins and it becomes an absolute insane ballistic ass fest of video games all at the same time. So the first quarter is going to be nuts. I'm very much looking forward to it. And I'm also really looking forward to Game Awards. So we're going to be watching that with our usual Yo Video Games crew, most likely live. But outside of that, yeah, fighting game stuff. Be playing some more Marvel vs. Capcom games as usual, just because I got the itch. And yeah, a lot more fighting game coverage on the channel.
Awesome stuff. Yeah, we'll have to have you back sometime in early 2022 after the just insane amount of games in a 2-week period once we finished them all, for sure. Zeke, what's going on with you? What do you got coming up? What can people check you out?
I've got absolutely nothing coming up. I'm quitting streaming forever. I'm going straight into NFTs.
Nice.
And yeah, I'm gonna put a paintbrush in between my butt cheeks and draw something, and then I'll sell it for whatever, $7 million. No, I am streaming. I'm not streaming today though. I'm not streaming after this. I will be streaming tomorrow. I don't know what I'm playing because I thought Metroid Dread might bleed into Thursday, but we actually ended up finishing it. So I'm looking at maybe some Darkest Dungeon 2, checking out some more stuff there. Or maybe we fire up Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't know. But I will be streaming tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific. And then I'm got my fingers crossed for my my eBay package because I bought Gothos, I'm not sure. Gothos. It's an old FMV game from I don't know how long ago with vampires in it. But as soon as I get that, we'll fire that up. So that's what's coming up for me. Thanks
Awesome.
for watching. Oh, follow me on all the things at _II.
Yeah, I'm excited for Men's Day. Your show. It's very.
Oh right,
we found where
yeah.
it's at. We found.
We got to
where
change
it's at.
that, and we got to change the. Both of them have that. So
Yeah.
Okay. You just took my Twitter bio, so just recopy my Twitter bio, and yeah.
Can do. Barry will get one of those.
I'll
get the other.
I'm not a frequent Twitch stage host anymore either. You know what? I gotta change this whole fucking thing. I gotta go back to my Twitter bio and change that.
Okay. All right. We'll get it figured out. What do I have coming up? Not kind of Battlefield on. I'm off center. Here we go. Battlefield Friday is early access. Starts for that. Excited for that. Kind of just playing more League and questioning my situation and why I play that game after like 8 hours yesterday. So that's a doozy. Might be checking out SMT5 here soon. That launches Friday as well. I don't know if we'll do a full playthrough. That's like a 100+ hour game, but kind of counting the hours till Endwalker comes out in December, and then Halo Infinite as well. Those are the two big games right now that I'm most looking forward to. So that is that, and that will do it for the old dropped frames. We're done. It feels nice to finally have talked about Elden Ring. I don't have this like itch constantly in the back of my head to just like talk and think about that game anymore. Now I just got to play it. We got to wait 4 months or 3 months.
Now it's time to forget that it exists until it comes out.
Yeah. Yeah. And also maybe play it this weekend. It's fucking just a weird.
Yeah, we'll see, man.
Just a weird.
The Dark Souls 3 network test was the same shit, where it was like, you're not supposed to stream it, and everybody streamed it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a weird situation. But there will probably be streams of it this weekend, and they may or may not include me and Max somewhere in them, depending on if we get told don't do it, or if we get told don't do it, wink, thumbs up type scenario.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll just have to see how it goes. So that's it for Drop Frames this week. We will be back next week. Ko will also be here next week, so we can finally drop that conversation from the chat.
God damn, that'll be fucking nice.
Yeah, yeah. Ko, he hasn't been around these parts in a while, Max, but he is sometimes a host of this show.
Oh,
yeah.
Ooh.
You've met Better Co by Jerry, goes by first name Jerry. It's his lesser form. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
He'll be back next week, perhaps. Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe not after the Witcher comments. We'll just have to see. But that's it for us this week. Thank you guys so much. If you want to watch the 2 or so hours that we talked about Elden Ring, you can do so. It's already up on my YouTube channel. Or if you want to watch Max's content, where he gets 30 extra additional minutes, or 30 different minutes, I should say, not additional, of Elden Ring, definitely go check that out over on his YouTube. But for now, we're out of here. Thanks for watching the old Drop Frames. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.